Hey guys, Chad here with Daily Bourbon, and today we're going to be talking about Bardstown Bourbon Company, Disco 10. So this is probably I think this is my first ever full-on media package that I've ever gotten from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So I want to say thank you Bardstown Bourbon Company for sending this my way. I want to make sure that was at the top of the video. And to give a breakdown of what is in the Disco 10 blend, it is 62% 9-year Kentucky of 78-13-9, 18% Kentucky 13 year 75-13-12, 8% Kentucky 6-year 53-26-21, and all these are corn, rye, malted barley, with 10-year or with 2% 10-year Tennessee 84-8-8 and 10% 10-year from Georgia that's a 4 grain at 80% corn, 10 rye, 5 wheat, and 5 malted barley. So overall, this is a very high malted barley and a average range rye mash bill coming from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. Let's go ahead and crack it open. Let's have us a pour. So there's a few mash bills in there you might not recognize. Now, one of the big ones in there is from a big distillery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky that people might know of. Another one is the super high malt Kentucky mash bill, the 6-year. I'm really not sure where that's from. I have no actual idea where it's from. And then the mash bill from Georgia, I want to assume is ASW. I'm not really too sure of how many distilleries are in Georgia, but I know ASW is one of the biggest. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the best because they're all I know, and I really just enjoy ASW. Let's go ahead and have a nose. Ooh. It's got a nice cinnamon sugar glaze pie crust cherry, like a cherry pie. It's like a cherry pie so far. It's a little herbaceous. The malt's coming through. It's got some chocolate, a little hint of like espresso. Then you get your standard oak, vanilla, caramel, your standard bourbon notes. We'll come back to the nose. It's falling a little flat. It's very exciting at first, and then just kind of trailed off. Let's give it a taste. Wow. Okay, so between the two primary distilleries of this blend from Kentucky, it's an average age of about 11 years, between the 9 and 13. And then the rest of it's going to be 10-year Georgia, Tennessee, and 6-year Kentucky. Either the Georgia and Kentuckys are doing a lot of heavy lifting because the Tennessee's only 2%. So I don't feel like it's doing a lot to the profile, just doing enough to kind of kind of round out those edges. It drinks more like a 15-year-old bourbon. It's weird because you do get the malt content in there with the espresso, the dark chocolate, and the honeysuckle notes. But then you get your standard traditional like Kentucky bourbon of brown sugar, brown butter, caramel, oak. You know, it's got a slight nuttiness to it. So there's a little bit of like this roasted peanut, sugar glaze, peanut thing with a little bit of the cherry from the nose coming through. It's not the full cherry pie quality the nose had, but it kind of rounds out the end with like a little medicinal cherry note, which I really enjoy. With the second sip, it really just kind of deepens. So I said it drinks like a 15-year. With another sip, it really goes into those heavy oak. You get more of that like the charred, toasted, burnt wood notes in there, a little more tannins, leather, tobacco, usually associated with an older bourbon. It's also got a little bit of a brightness. So there's like this really rich, like toasted, like burnt marshmallow, campfire-y, vanilla cream note. And then it kind of goes into a like light citrus, a little bit of honey, and grapefruit. I want to say it's kind of like an acidic, citrusy note. It goes like waves, really big in the beginning, dies down, kind of falls. I don't want to say flat, low tone, brightens up, and then it just really ramps up to these like almost tropical, summery vibes. Really, really good. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Disco 10. Retails, I think it's about 140, 150. I'm in love with this. This is my favorite Bardstown Bourbon Discovery release since 3 or 4. They've all been good, but 3, well, I'll say 3 and 4. 3 and 4 were the first 2 that I had full bottles of that I purchased. I got to try them, then I purchased it myself. Everything else has been a sample or something from a friend. But this really takes me back to those blends. I know it's not as old of a product, but I feel like it's got a really good baseline that everything blended in adds these nuances. I think a lot of those dessert qualities are coming from the Georgia product at 10 years old. I know it's a 4 grain, but I think it really adds a lot of complexity there because typically with a lot of blended whiskeys or a lot of blended bourbons rather, what you get is kind of a one note, one profile thing. It's not complex. There's not a lot of depth. It's just good. This shows off a little bit of everything. Kind of hits all the points, got some florality to it, some spice, some dessert notes, some earthiness, and whatever else is on the flavor wheel. It hits all of those in one way or another, and it does a really good job of balancing between those without going too far one direction. I think the best thing this has going for it though is on the nose, that like that fried cherry pie or like an empanada. I don't know how you want to put it. Taco Bell had empanadas. I'm thinking about Taco Bell, but it really combines all those aspects together as a blend. It kind of lifts, they all lift each other up and to create this profile. This is one of the best Bardstown blends I've had, or I might say the best Bardstown blend that I've had ever. And I've had a lot of their blends, and I'm a really big fan of Bardstown Bourbon Company, but I think they really knocked out of the park here. So great job, Danny Bardstown and the team at Bardstown Bourbon Company. So let me know below, have you tried Disco 10? Have you tried any of the Discovery series from Bardstown? If not, you should go to a bar, go to a friend's house, hit someone up on Reddit or Instagram or Facebook. Don't do Instagram, a lot of scammers. But find someone with some Bardstown Discovery. These blends are some of the most legendary blends out there, and I will put them up against anything from the past. And Disco 10, big fan. I enjoy it. I'm gonna buy a bottle. So let me know below what you guys think. Let's have a chat. Let's engage. Have a great day. Cheers, y'all.